Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm so excited that you're here because we get to have a great conversation again today. And these two people, one of them I've come to know a great deal, and Kashi, I'm getting to know more and more about her and what's going on. And but Swami Nityananda, okay,
You did great. You did great. Thank you, Kevin. And yeah, so Swami Nityananda, and then I'm also super excited to welcome Acharya Kashi.
Acharya Kashi.
You did great, Kevin.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk a little bit about you, Swami. Tell our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm right now geographically located in Baltimore, Maryland, and I have the great joy of working with Kashi at Awake Yoga Meditation. So we're part of a meditation community that's in Baltimore, but we share teachings around the country and around the world. So anyone who likes to meditate or who just likes insight and spontaneous joy and good humor and wisdom and transformative teachings, you're welcome to join us online anytime. awakeyoga.org. awakeyogameditation.org is our website. And it's been my joy for, I guess, about 12 years. I've been sharing teachings of yoga philosophy and meditation. I was trained by my teacher, Swami Shankarananda, who founded our community. And something we're really excited about is we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of our community in November of this year.
Oh, congratulations. That's really cool. I got to ask you, because there's some people in our audience that are going, meditation? What's that all about? I don't know nothing about that. So I wanted to touch bases with you on that, because in the meditation work that I've done, especially in a group setting, it is the most unique time that people have together. It's almost like our energies are kind of molding together and we're having a communal experience. Is that kind of what it's designed to be?
That's really beautiful. I mean, the first thing I would say is meditation is as close as any listener's breath. So there's nothing scary about it. And every time you breathe, you can just breathe with awareness. You can breathe into your heart. You can open your heart. You can feel the energy of pure love in your heart. That is a form of meditation. And I would also agree with you. The venerable Buddhist teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, said that meditating in community is a miracle. And I think he was pointing toward exactly what you said, that there's this transformation, there's this amplification of positive energy. Kashi, do you want to chime in? What do you notice about meditating in community?
I notice that meditating in community helps me to come into conscious contact with peace that walks with me when I am not in the physical space of community anymore. So when I meditate at Awake Yoga Meditation, the gems, the jewels that I collect in that process walk with me. And it's really a beautiful thing. To connect it even further, I met Swami, who is my teacher. So Swami Nityananda had her teacher, and by grace, she is my teacher. I met her because when I was working in education in the city where I lived, I wanted to bring meditation to my students. And I Googled meditation communities in the city where I lived, which was Baltimore. And Awake Yoga Meditation came up, which was a community that I was familiar with. I had swung by a few times before, but it didn't stick. And so I met Swami because I wanted to bring that energy of peace and clarity and stillness to my students. And when I came to the community, I didn't come for myself. I came to support my students. But what I felt in that community was familiar to me on an inner level. even though I had never met Swami in person in this lifetime anyway, or any other community members. And so I share that to say, when we come into contact with a community that practices meditation, that practices the true yogic teachings, which is simply to love yourself as you are and to love all of creation as it is, you instantly connect to that reality and it is familiar to you. You know it instantly, wordlessly. And I connect with that every time I'm in community at Awake Yoga Meditation. But again, I'm connected with it at this right now moment, because through the practice of community, in community rather, you learn that the gifts are with you always. And so it's a really beautiful thing.
By the way, Swami, you're a heck of a teacher.
I mean, no one can take credit. Kashi is just her own amazingness.
But she is a really great teacher. She is. Like, you can check out some of Swami's meditation talks on YouTube. Like, if you go to Awake Yoga Meditation on YouTube, you will see for yourself how phenomenal Swami is with sharing these teachings and making them grounded and practical, and you can apply them to your everyday life, truly.
Now, I got to ask you, Kashi, because you're a teacher and you wanted to bring meditation, mindful meditation, to the classroom.
That's right.
Did you get any pushback?
No, I didn't get any pushback. I think there is a lot of science and research behind the benefits of meditation, and you meet people where they are. And so if that scientific methodology encourages people to sit down in stillness, I can speak that lingo. And, you know, we can talk about the benefits of that for our students and even for the teachers. I also think there has been a shift in culture just around mindfulness. I know there are strains of folks who still don't agree with it, but mostly we're coming to recognize as humans the value of cultivating a healthy inner landscape, and that includes in the classroom settings.
Now, do you find, what grade do you teach?
I'm no longer a teacher. I haven't taught for quite some time. I eventually started a software company, emotional wellness software company, so that we could scale the number of young people that we reach. So the company is called CLOM. And basically what we do is teach young people healthy coping skills that they can carry around in their pocket. So we took the skill of mindfulness in addition to other self-regulation skills, and we teach young people how to master themselves no matter what emotional waves arise.
Okay, so I got to ask you, you're a teacher going back when? Sorry. But you're a teacher going back when, and you're teaching, and then you decide, I'm going to start a software company. I'm going to give up. Who in your inner circle said, oh, now, Kashi, you've got a good job. It takes care of you. And now you want to jump off a cliff into a software world? Did you have anybody in your world say that to you?
I'll be honest. The only person in my world who said that to me was me. I had the total support of my family. I told my parents about it. They were like, if anybody can do this, you can do it. Even my boss at the school, my executive director, when I turned in my resignation letter, she said, I really don't want to accept this, but if you will have me on your board, I will join. Everybody supported me. Swami, the community, Awake Yoga Meditation. But I had to deal with my own fears and confront my own limitation along the way. When I resigned, I said, I'm either going to fly or I'm going to fall. But either way, I'm going to give myself a chance to figure out what is true, because the desire to start that company came from someplace that inside of me that is real. And so it was scary to listen to that, especially because when I chose to leave my school, a few years before, I had just been promoted to school leadership. So I was on the administration side, and it's like, oh man, I've made this big pivot in my career, and now I'm about to like change everything. So again, it was just really me. I had to deal with myself when I started my company.
Did you find that there was a journey that you took as you started your company and you were moving forward, and there were good moments and there were not so good moments, but if you found that you stayed with it, that it would be a success?
Yes, I believe that the fulcrum always tips in the direction of our greatest effort. And
Oh,
during that time, my greatest effort was to see what is real. So the company was like an extension of that, but it wasn't my whole purpose. I was trying to use building the company as a tool to see what is real. I just wanted to know, who am I? And I used everything that was happening in my life as an opportunity to learn. So during this time, I was connecting with Swami. I mean, regularly. I would have conferences with my teacher, but also I totally committed myself to the teaching. So it was like I resigned from my job, I started the company, and I said, okay, I'm diving totally into this. I'm not gonna half-ass it. I'm gonna do it 100%. Like everything that the teaching say. If anything comes up in me that says other than love yourself or love thy neighbor or that which you are is limitless, it's on me to heal it. And it was hard. I'm not even going to sit here and say that it was easy. It was very difficult. I shed a lot of tears. I did a lot of things afraid, but we can do things even when we are afraid. And it's okay to be afraid. But it's like in that process of doing things afraid and still clinging to that tiny seed inside of you that knows that you're stepping in truth, you grow less afraid. And so all of that time period was like a practicum. It was like pedal to the metal, learning how to live the teachings.
you know, Swami, I got to tell you, it's just not fair that somebody that young can be that talented. And
Kashi's brilliant.
it's not fair, I tell you, because Swami, I'd like you to speak to this, because her skills and where she is going to blossom into an amazing human being over time, and the best is yet to come for you, young lady. The best. You got so much potential.
I
So, I mean,
appreciate that.
one of the things that I would say, so I was listening to what Kashi was talking about, and so you can just tell, like, there's so much purity of heart and so much integrity that Kashi is and that she expresses, and that like was flowing into what she was saying, not only in the words, but just like the energy, the consciousness of it. And so I would say for each listener to use that story as an invitation to turn within to your own self. And so this is what the yogis say, is that each of us is an expression of light. And so this is always the case. We're always an emanation of light in time and space. And what Kashi was talking about right there and just did so movingly was her own process of coming into the direct recognition and the lived awareness and the expressiveness of that in the ways that are natural to her. And so what yogis would say is that every human on the planet is light. And so for each of us, we have our own individual way of turning within, connecting with what's real within ourselves, which is always going to be light and kindness and generosity and calm and steadiness and peace and poise. And we all have innumerable skills and talents. My skills and talents are not in software development,
Yeah,
but
no
you
kidding.
know, and I mean, so, and Kevin, like you're blossoming and flourishing and sharing your skills and talents. And so for every listener, the question is, how may I, from moment to moment, turn within and open my heart and be in contact with that pure love, that pure light that is real within me? There will always be guidance, step by step, moment by moment. There will be guidance and there will be forward movement. And like what Kashi was just talking about, you know, was like several years compressed into that story that she was talking about. And so just for each listener to know, like, don't be in a rush, and trust the light is with you always. And the more that you turn to the light, and the more Kashi was kind of talking about this, like, the more that you trust your own direct contact with the light will show you, the light will unfold what needs to be unfolded, both inwardly and in time and space. Like, the light will show you funding sources. The light will show you excellent software development sources. The light will show you wonderful board members. I'm just giving examples that would go with what Kashi just demonstrated. But for each listener to trust that within each of us, when we connect with that light, we also connect with the light that is vast and is throughout the universe. And so we're connecting with this resourcefulness that is larger than the individual, and almost like a universal friendliness, a universal kindness, a universal awareness, a universal generosity, a universal goodwill, a universal being of service. And when we're moving in that energy, that will definitely magnetize to us whoever the humans are, who will be our friends, who will walk with us for this next step forward. And then we're benefiting, everyone we come into contact is benefiting, and then everything that we produce will be in that flow of generosity, that flow of helpfulness, that flow of beneficence and goodwill.
I think, and I'd love your opinion, both of you, on this. I believe that all of us, all 8 billion of us that are here, at one point or another in our life, turn to our life and retrospectively look at it and go, why am I really here? What am I here to really do? I'm not here to be a farmer, or in my case, a chicken salesman, or probably the only one of them he ever met, and any of those things. Why am I really here? What is my purpose? And I think that we at one point in time, we all do that. Some of us are younger. Some of us, it takes a while, but we all do that. And then it's the activation of making it happen, of saying, all right, I really want to know, why am I really here? And when we come back from this break, I'm going to have both of them talk to that, because I think it's important that, in my case, I've got a whole room full of people and guides on the other side, that when I opened up and said, okay, I want to understand why I'm really here and what impact I can really make in the world. And they said, well, it's about damn time. Finally, he's going to open up, and we're going to be able to help him do what he wanted to do before he even came here. That was his mission in life, and he didn't recognize it until now. And when we come back, I want to ask both of you if that moment came for you, or you were born with that, and what do you, for people that are going through that, give us some help, some recommendations on how they can make it real for themselves and understand that you said my favorite word, trust. So trust that we're going to be back in 30 seconds or a minute and 10. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We're going to take a short break to tell you audio and music creators about our commercial affiliate, Lyric Vids, specializing in creating amazing and engaging lyric videos. Are you looking to promote your videos in the most engaging way, but you don't have an animator and an editor? Whether you're an artist, musician, or business with a message to share, our lyric videos are designed to hook viewers and amplify your reach. Go to positivetalkradio.net/lyric vids. That's positivetalkradio.net/LYRICVIDS now to get started. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. We hope you enjoyed learning about our affiliate Lyric Vids, who specialize in creating captivating animated lyric videos. Now let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And today we've got, you have presented me with the biggest gift today, because I get to talk to you and to pick your brains about, I hope it doesn't hurt, about your purpose in life. Why are we really here? How can you access it? Meditation is one way. There are others, but Swami, did you always want to be a Swami? And was this a childhood thing, or did you wake up one day and go, I want to do this and I want to be this and I want to be helpful to humanity? What how did that happen for you?
So it's a great question. And Kevin, it's such a gift. It's such a joy to talk with you. Thank you for your amazing exuberance and light that you share with everybody. So, one of the things that I would say is that for me, and I'm inviting every listener to tune in and to ask yourself this question. From my earliest awareness, I was aware that my body was connected to the natural world. And I was aware that the natural world was connected to my body. And I was aware of my connection to love and to loving humans, to like my dad and my mom and to other humans whom I hadn't even met, but I knew that there were like these loving beings. And so that was my earliest awareness. And then I actually worked as a professor at a university. I was a full professor of English for 27 years, and I just retired in June. And I would actually say that I have had a lifelong passion for helping humans be in contact with exactly what you just said. Who am I? What's real? What matters? How can I be in contact with the best within myself and the best within other humans? And so for me, like being a teacher has always been helping people live into the fullness of this is what I love. These are my gifts. Like these are my talents. This is my way of being of service in the world. So my whole life has actually been that. And then I started, I mean, just to give you some dates, I started being a professor in 1997. And then I met my teacher in 2010. And my teacher, Swami Nityananda, was just like sunshine in human form. He was amazing. And I went to a Friday night meditation. He walked into the room and it was like time just stopped. There was like this lightning bolt of awareness. And I knew this is the real deal. And I think maybe that everything that has since unfolded was in that moment right there. But no, I never asked to do this. I'm doing this because my teacher asked me to do this. So this doesn't come from a human thing. Like it's not part of my plan. My teacher asked me, would you like to serve as my successor? And so I agreed to be of service. And because what I received through my teacher was so pure, it was so precious. The teachings of truth, when they are imparted through an embodied teacher who is living the teachings of truth, there is nothing like it. The yogis use the word grace, and it is just the energy of transformation. It is the energy of illumination, and it activates the light within ourselves, this light that we're talking about. And so I'll just mention from my perspective, Kevin, you were sharing part of your journey. I would say that there are no accidents. And so even if you were a chicken salesman for a while, like you were learning something that allows you now to be of even greater service than you otherwise would have been. So I would say that actually, like, if you want to use the word grace or light, it has been with you every moment of your journey in order to unfold this incredible flourishing. Like you're in a time of dynamic flourishing of light in your life right now. It's really beautiful. And all of it has been steps along the way. All of it has been part of the unfoldment and part of the light and part of the transformation that now makes it possible for you to be here. And you're just being you. And it's joy. And the success and the thriving comes from you being you. And this is true for every listener, that we can trust there's an underlying wisdom that's always present and always available. There's an underlying love, even through the really challenging things. Every human goes through really challenging things. Deeper than all of that is love. And deeper than all of that is wisdom. The light walks with us always, even if our human eyes are not seeing the light in that particular moment. And then sometimes you look back and you realize, if I hadn't gained this understanding, this compassion, this healing by going through that particular experience, I wouldn't now be able to allow the divine to be of service through me in the way that I am now allowing the divine to be of service through me. So that's an entry point. Kashi, what would you say?
I think of purpose in two ways. The first is coming to your purpose through asking how may I be of service? Literally, how does light want to express itself through me? The work that I do is not like my idea. I'm happy to do the work that I do. It's a blessing to serve in the way that I serve, but I would have never thought this way is the most helpful way. So once I started to ask the question, what is most helpful? How may I be of service? And then taking inspired action based off of that question. And then asking again, here I am. How may I be of service? What is the most helpful thing? And so the path just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, not all at once, but unfolding always. And then the second way that I think about purpose for every human is really to just, Swami said, to just be yourself. But another way to say that is just to allow light to play through you in ever greater ways, like constantly and consistently and ceaselessly. And in order to do that, that means staying steady and staying clear, such that that light can constantly and consistently express itself through you in ever greater ways. And if we're doing that, we're not getting it wrong. I remember Swami doing one of your meditation talks. You talked about how different careers are all the same expression. And she talked about someone who was a janitor and how, as that person was cleaning the floors, light was being spread across the floors in the form of that mop and that water. And so if you are a janitor and that is your purpose, that is a beautiful expression of light in the realm of space and time, and it matters. And if you are an executive, that is a beautiful expression of light in the realm of space and time. So it's not so much the profession that matters, it's the asking of the question, what is of greatest service here right now? How would you like to express yourself through me? To that light, to that pure consciousness, to that awareness. And it's the allowance of that, such that the person who comes in contact with that floor, that janitor clean, who was connected to light, is uplifted and encouraged. That energy never dissipates. It's eternal, it's unchanging. And so if we are doing it from that space of connection, whatever we are doing, we are uplifting and we are encouraging. And what can be a greater purpose than that?
That is just phenomenal. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you caught it, and so I'm going to remind you of it. Both of them use the term service, because that's why we're here. We're here to serve other people. And there are things that happen, like Kashi. I don't know if I told you this part, but when I had my epiphany when I was 42 and was like, why am I here? What am I going to go do? And then I'd grown up Lutheran and stuff, and so I didn't know about meditation or anything having to do with spirituality. And so I went, and a group of friends of mine went, and we learned to meditate. And because when I was growing up, that was of the devil, and you didn't do that sort of thing. And because I'm a lot older than you, but in any event, and then my friend who I had just met, we knew each other for like 2 years, and this is an instructive moment for me. I hope it is for everybody else. And we became good friends, and we were learning to meditate, and we were learning to do different things. He came to me one day, called me on the phone, and he said, we need to do a television show and talk about all the things we're learning. I'd never considered anything like that. I'd been an actor and when I was a kid and a DJ and stuff, but I never considered doing that. And so I said, I'll check it out. We couldn't do TV, but we could do radio. And that led me to the next step. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. He came into my life specifically to take me to the next part of my journey. And then he said, got to go do my own thing. See you later. Out he went. And did that happen to you? Have you had people things that you had no idea, because you were listening and you were trusting the universe to provide for you, Did you have an idea when things were going to happen that they just kind of showed up?
Yes, that's literally my whole life. I'm living in that now. But I think it just goes back to what you said earlier, Kevin. Just trust. Trust the perfection of your placement. Trust that you are loved. Trust that you are guided. Trust that things are working out for you. Trust that you can't get it wrong. Trust that, and consciousness is already done. We just have the pleasure of being in the play, but the play is already written. The characters are already established. So have fun, but know that it's all taken care of. And if you are choosing love, if you are choosing kindness, even when it feels really difficult, even when you don't know the next step to take, if you are doing those things, you cannot get it wrong. And there will come a time where peace will prevail within you. And so it becomes totally clear, I can't get it wrong. But because you clung to that, even when you didn't feel it, and you chose to keep going forward anyway, forward motion matters. And it's a natural current. We don't have to create forward motion. All we have to do is not cling to limitation. So if we can give ourselves the gift of not clinging to limitation, which for most of us means our negative thought patterns, we will be okay, because we are okay.
I love what you said, because this is where a lot of people get hung up, is that, what if I do it wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, the reality is you can't get it wrong. It's going to be, if you trust and believe in what you're doing and to have faith and kindness and love, that it will just continue to flourish for you in ways you really can't imagine. And we need to take a station break. When we come back, we are going to get all the information about how people can reach the two of you, because this is so important. This conversation we're having can really be life changing for somebody who's listening, and somebody is listening that was saying to themselves, I was thinking about this all day, and now I'm listening to this on the Brushwood Media or on the podcast or whatever. That's pretty amazing that it just showed up for me. That is a sign that your universal guides are taking care of you and saying, "Hey, listen to this. These two are just dynamic." We'll be right back, and we'll continue with Swami and with Kasha. Stay with us.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
Oops. And there I go, I was so taken with that commercial and with talking to you two that I forgot my producer responsibilities, and so that's okay. But Swami, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and to work with you and to join your meditation group, or to just to learn how do they do that?
So one of the things that I would say is all of our teachings are online and they're all free. And so around the country, around the world,
That's nice.
Everyone is welcome. And so awakeyogameditation.org is our website, and you can always find links to join our live meditations on Zoom and then on YouTube. And then we also have many, many resources like books, we have talks, we have blogs, we have videos that are also available on our website, awakeyogameditation.org, and available on YouTube as well. For anyone who is on social media, we share teachings on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook also. And you're welcome as well to email me at swami@awakeyogameditation.org. Kashi, what would you chime in about?
We have a Substack. If you are on Substack, you can find us there as well.
Pardon me, I'm old and don't have any idea. What's a Substack?
So Substack is a platform where people can share writings, videos. So it's kind of like a blog and a YouTube in one place. You can get it all there. So you don't have to go to YouTube, and you won't have to necessarily go to Awake Yoga Meditation to read our blog articles. You can get them in one spot.
Brilliant. That's really cool. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that everything on your website is free, Swami. I mean, you do have to make a living and all that kind of stuff. But I love the service aspect of it. You're here just to take care of people and to serve. By the way, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. I mean, I should say I serve full time at Awake Yoga Meditation. And Kevin, like what you're talking about, it's the ancient tradition of yogis. So I don't take a salary. I have a bowl, and people put into the bowl free will gifts, offerings. So I live based on what people put into the bowl. And so it is an act of trust. It is an act of love. It is an act of faith. And I find like when I live in that energy and in that spirit, that it is a flow of expanding joy, expanding appreciation, expanding gratitude, expanding abundance.
It is so important that you trust and to trust the universe. And even in the Bible, for those of you know, the lilies of the field, they don't dress themselves. They just do fine. And so, you know, regardless of what your traditional format is, all you need, the gospel according to John Lennon says, all you need is love. And that is important. People are going, the gospel according to who? You know, and that's all we need is to take care of each other. Even when I was a host at a Denny's and was making minimum wage, I enjoyed being there and serving people, taking them to their seat and having them have a good time and stuff like that. And service is so important. Why is it that some of us view it more importantly than others, and can it be a learned thing that people can learn how to be of service? And what would you recommend that they do, Swami?
So service is actually one of the 4 pathways to unfolding the light within yourself that yogis have identified as being of primary importance. And so it is definitely something that we teach. It's called karma yoga, and it's the yoga of love in action. And so the idea is, Kashi was exemplifying this earlier when she was saying, here I am, how may I be of service? And this is that each person always is listening within themselves. And so Kevin, you just exemplified this. Wherever you are, whatever your work is, if you're in that spirit of helpfulness and hopefulness and kindness and gentleness and generosity and steadiness, it will infuse that whole restaurant that you are working in. Everybody benefits, not only the people that you come into direct contact, but all of the other servers benefit, the cooks benefit, the whole landscape benefits. And so I would say that it's very heart opening. So another thing, I don't know if we've used that exact phrasing, but we've been kind of talking about it implicitly the whole time we've been conversing today, that this is a process of, I open the heart, I allow pure love to flow. Pure love within me is the energy of pure light. It's with me, it's within me always. And light and pure love vanquish pride, ego, anger, hatred, jealousy, fear, any human limitations, any negative thought patterns. So as long as we keep, I open my heart, I allow this love, I allow this light to flow, what would be of service, we're elevating our consciousness. We're elevating our frequency. We're elevating our vibration. We will be transforming the experiences that we have with other humans. And so generally, it's not always like a one-to-one correlation, but generally, if you're in that energy of kindness, most people will flow the kindness back to you. Because kindness has a higher vibration, and that will uplift those who come into contact with you. You might occasionally come up with somebody who's like a cranky pants. They might stay a cranky pants, but you can choose to be in that energy of kindness. And then that energy of kindness just becomes more steady in you, more established in you. Your consciousness and vibration and frequency transform. So every time any human is in that energy of how may I be of service? Here I am, what's helpful in this moment? And I want to emphasize, I mean, Kashi and I just both demonstrated this. You demonstrated this as well, Kevin. It's not what the human plans, right? Like your friend invited you to be on TV, which turned out to be radio, which wasn't part of your human self planning. It wasn't part of my human self planning. I said yes because my teacher asked me to do this. It wasn't Kashi's human self planning to start a software company. And so just that involves living with open-heartedness. It involves living, trusting that flow of love, trusting that flow of light. And Kashi said, like, it's not always easy. There are times when you say, I don't know what this is going to look like in time and space. And by grace, in this energy of trust and faith and divine confidence, I'm going to step forward. I'm going to invite the light to step forward through me. And then step by step, moment by moment, breath by breath, the light guides us, the path unfolds. It's almost like we're building the path as we walk it. And it is a law, like you were talking about this, Kevin. The people who need to come and assist and support us, they come. They assist and support us. Like you said, your friend was here for a while in your experience, and then your friend is on their journey, which also is perfect as well. But that's the way this works. So if we say, I'm going to live in this energy of light, I'm going to live in this energy of service, that flow of generosity will meet us.
It is the most unusual thing. Remember, I was telling you about I was a host at Denny's. This particular Denny's, I was working at. And I was just doing my normal thing. Wasn't thinking in terms of it being in service or spiritual or anything. I was just having a good time, enjoying it with people. And a guy came up to pay. I'll never forget this. I was standing there, and a guy came up to pay. A waitress was standing right next to me, and he goes, this Denny's has a different energy to it than any of the other ones I've been to. And and the waitress points at me and goes, that's his fault. And it was like, and the same thing happened when I was a bus driver. I had the power to positively or negatively impact 60 people that were on my bus. And it was all me. I had the ability, I had the power to do any of that. So yeah, I think that we all have that power. And I'm willing to bet, Kashi, that when you walk into a room, like walk into a party or walk into something, there are people that go, I need to know who that is because she has got a lot of energy and power to her. Does that ever happen to you?
Jesus said a city on the hill cannot be hidden. So if we are in contact with light, it's obvious. It's not like a personal Takashi thing, but I'm sure it's the same with Swami. Anybody who is in contact with that light, people would like to be close to that because it's who they are. It's everybody's true nature. And so we're drawn to it. I mean, as my teacher, I was drawn to Swami. Like, what is happening here? Like, what is going on? And it's just light. It's just love. It's just wisdom. It's just service. And then, what I wanted to say about service is that as humans, so often we confuse service with poverty consciousness. We believe that if we're being of service, that we cannot be of service and still live in the consciousness of abundance. Like the word service in the human mind is often associated with limitation, when in fact, the opposite is true. When we are in true service, meaning I'm offering just for the pleasure, for the delight, for the joy of sharing, we are in contact with the energy of abundance. And so Swami, living in her bowl consciousness, is living in the consciousness of pure abundance. Her bowl will always be full. There's a story that's told from the Hindu tradition of this bowl, the Akshaya Patra. And that bowl was given to some brothers who were isolated in the forest. But whatever they needed, it was given to them by Krishna, would be provided in that bowl. And so the invitation for every human is to live in that energy of bowl consciousness, to know and to trust that whatever you require and then some, because abundance means abundance of all things will be provided to you. And trust that and watch. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful process of unfolding. And I have learned that. I'm speaking from personal experience of trusting that service for the sake of service is helping us to just live in the consciousness of what is. So actually the energy of abundance and the energy of service are not different. If you're living in the energy of service, you are then living of true service, non-egoic, non-attachment service. You are living in the consciousness of abundance. And if you find that you are not, I still feel struggle, I still feel strain, the invitation is to offer that struggle and to offer that strain to the heart, to love, to pure consciousness, because you are essentially melting that limitation that exists within every human. It's not a bad thing when you know the struggle or when you know the strain. Every human experiences it. And Kevin, I love what you said when you said, I had the power, because we have the power. Each of us has the power. You can heal that.
I get to choose.
I get to choose. I have a choice.
We all get to choose. Can we be somebody that says hello to the cashier and smiles and says, I hope your day's going well? Or can we just look at him and like, hurry up? We get to choose. I choose to make somebody feel good because not because it's selfish. And I don't know about you guys, but it's selfish because when I make somebody else feel good, when I give somebody else happiness, I'm giving myself even more happiness than I'm giving them. So it's a little selfish. I'm sorry.
So it's actually, what you're talking about, Kashi was talking about this as well, but what you're talking about, that's your true nature. That's the true nature of each of us. Kindness is who we are. The crankiness is temporary. It's not the eternal truth of our being. And so anybody who's experiencing struggle or pain or heartache or doubt or a feeling of confusion or just a question like, how do I move forward from here? Just love yourself forward. Your true nature is pure light. Your true nature is pure love. And so, Kevin, what you're talking about, when you're being kind, the reason that feels so good is because that's who we are eternally. And so I agree with you. Like, it feels so much better to be in that energy of kindness and to share that energy of joy and that energy of good humor with everyone we encounter. And then it does, we get to make a choice. Like if you see somebody in the grocery store who's not in a good mood, you can just watch it and observe it and neutrally allow that energy to kind of pass you by without being stirred up by it and without taking that energy. And so you're right, we are exercising choice. And then we are basically saying that the domain of this consciousness is beautiful. It's a temple of light. And so I'm going to choose to fill this temple of light with love and with light, and to lovingly decline to allow anything other than love and light to enter this temple of consciousness. And what happens then is, Kevin, you were exemplifying this when you were talking about that restaurant. It lifts everybody into that temple of light energy, which is such a beautiful thing. And this is everywhere we are. So if we're on the bus or we're in the grocery store, we're at the workplace, we're in our families, everywhere we are, each of us can simply be this living temple of light. And it's joyful and it's actually natural to ourselves. This is our true nature.
And when we come back from this real quick break, it's only 30 seconds. I want to touch on, we don't talk about politics much on this show, and for a very good reason, but something is happening. And I want to just get your guys' opinion on what's happening right now. Because things are, remember Bob Dylan? He had a song, it was called Things They Be a Changin'. Well, you know what? Things they be a changin'. We'll be right back.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life, because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We've got Swami and your last name, please.
Nityananda. Yep.
And Kashi, give us your full name, please.
Acharya Kashi.
And the name of your software company.
Climb. So that's CLYMB.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's awesome. If somebody wants to work with you and to buy your software and to look at your website, I assume you have a website.
We do have a website. It's Climb, so CLYMB up.io.
.io?
That's right.
Oh, very good. I wanted to mention this part, and just briefly, and I don't want to belabor it, but something is happening. When I first started doing podcasts, I started with a podcast called My Independence Report because we wanted to eliminate hate, division, and fear because it was running rampant in our society. It seemed like everybody was talking badly about each other and were making saying really nasty things towards each other, and nobody was looking at each other. Well, you know what? Something is changing. There's a pendulum, I think, that happens, and that is that the pendulum swung way over here into the negative side, and people have decided, many people, not all, but many, have decided, no, that doesn't feel good. We don't want to be there, and the pendulum is swinging back, and the people that are now, some of the people that are running for office are taking a very positive approach, which is really good for me. This is Positive Talk Radio. But I want, do you guys, I don't know if you follow politics or not, but do you sense that there is a change a-coming and the change is going to be positive?
Kashi, do you want to start?
Yeah. So remember earlier in the show where I talked about where I first started to live the teachings.
Yep.
I'm allowing more and more light to flow in, and it felt very unsteady. And there was a lot of fear that I noticed within myself. And the more I kept going, the clearer I became. And so that can happen at the level of collective energy too. So right now on our planet in particular, there's a lot of light coming in. There's a lot of healing happening. There's a lot of forward motion. And in the process of that, some ickies arise the same way they arose when I was on my personal journey of discomfort. There was a lot of fear, and fear can make a lot of noise. And so we noticed that play out across the planet. But ultimately, what is happening from my perspective is that healing is happening, love is happening, forward motion is happening. I'm paraphrasing Martin Luther King, who said, the moral arc of the universe bends towards justice. And so whatever we see in the realm of space and time, the same way that we can trust that things are working out in our individual personal lives, they are also working out for the collective. And everything is helping us as humans to come closer to the realization that all of this is pure consciousness, that I am loved, and that ultimately all is well. Whatever we see, again, the script is already written. These are just actors in the play. Whatever actor we see, they're playing their role. They are pure consciousness taking the shape, the form as this person, playing out the way that it plays out. But ultimately, as a collective, we are moving towards greater clarity and to understanding.
Swami?
So I would say completely respect and endorse what Kashi just said. And my take on it is that goodwill, love, and respect are true to the heart of every human being, and that we are in process on this planet of living into fuller expression of goodwill, love, and respect. And so what happens, it's kind of like, I'll just use a little example, but like if the sun comes in, it might show like a little area that I didn't clean up because I missed it because the light wasn't there. But I don't need to be.
You've been in my house, haven't you?
But I don't need to be afraid of that. And I can just say, oh, I missed that. Like now that the light is flowing in, I can see like I missed that little bit of dust. And so I can just get my dustpan and broom and sweep it up with no judgment. There doesn't have to be like a lot of fear or a lot of drama about this. And so I would agree very much that we are in the process of living toward a fuller expression of goodwill and love and respect. And for every human on the planet, for anyone who's like looking out at the world, focus on what you would like to create. So don't be alarmed by images to the contrary of what you would like to create. Use that to deepen your dedication, your faithfulness, your steadfastness, your joy, your generosity, your integrity to create what you would love to create. And so we're back to the laws of energy here. What I focus on, I energize. And so it's really vital for every listener, for if I want to create peace and harmony, then my task is to focus on peace and harmony, because I need to be in that energy of peace and harmony, living peace and harmony in order to be able to contribute to peace and harmony. It can't come from the lips. It has to come from the heart. It has to come because my 2 feet are walking the walk of peace and harmony. It has to come that in my conversations and my relationships and my choices and the way that I am in the world, I am in that energy of peace and harmony. And so for every listener to just whatever you love, whatever you care about, whatever is beautiful and pure and bright and vital and noble and good, focus on that and live in the energy of that, and let that be where your energy goes. Let that be where your attention flows. And what happens then is you will see more and more of that in your life. You will live in that frequency and in that vibration. So the more that you live in that energy of what you love, the more that will be in your experience. That's the way the laws of energy work. The universe is infinite. Kashi was talking about this earlier. The universe has limitless supply of everything that we love. And so as we choose to focus on what we love, and as we choose to really truly notice and appreciate everything that I have, this body that I have is a gift. This mind that I have, this heart that I have, the ability to speak and think and look and act and laugh and have curiosity and have this amazing dynamic conversation. This is all a gift. And the more I notice and appreciate that, the more gifts will flow. And the more I'll just be sharing gifts out of sheer joy, out of sheer delight, out of awe and wonder. And so for every listener not to be distracted or discouraged by any evidence to the contrary of what you love, but to use everything to deepen your steadiness, your dedication, your devotion to being of service to what you care about most purely. And you will live into the results. That light within you will strengthen you. Kashi was talking about this. It's a process. And so it's moment to moment, choice by choice, thought by thought. Keep opening the heart. Keep living in that energy of love. Keep trusting the fullness of light, which is our true nature. And then more and more you live in direct felt awareness of that light and that love, that goodwill, that generosity, that nobility, that respect. And of course, the planet transforms as every one of us chooses that, of course. And then also, I mean, we're strengthening one another. Like through the conversation that the three of us has had right now, I'm not the same as I was before we had this conversation. Anyone who listens to this, they're not the same as they were before they had this conversation. So there's a continual dynamic flow of inspiration and insight and upliftment always available. And so to just like live in the fullness of that, and life becomes a wonderland. It becomes just divine, it becomes magical, it becomes wondrous, filled with awe and beauty and joy.
I can't think of a better way to end the show, quite frankly. And Kashi, anything you'd like to add before we go?
I just second what Swami said. Thank you.
And you guys are coming back. You have no choice. I have commanded it, and so it shall happen. So, I want to thank both of you for being here, Swami and Kashi. It's been a joy. And thank you all for listening. This has been Positive Talk Radio. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's